What's going on, everybody? This is Blaine Sumner, 2016 IPF Super Heavyweight World Champion. Today we're going to talk about the walkout and the squat. Chad brought me here today to film some things, podcast a little bit, so wanted to give you guys some step-by-step things that I go through in the squat. I've walked out over 500 kilograms a few times, so I've really had to fine-tune my walkout and make sure that I'm able to squat whatever I can walk out. So I've had to make my walkout one of my strong suits so it doesn't hold my squat back. So whenever we're talking about the squat and coaching the squat, I like to break it down into three parts. The first part's the walkout, the second part's the descent, and the third part's the ascent. So today we're just going to go over part one, the walkout, the setup. And it's just as important as the descent and the ascent. So there's a lot of details that go into this. Getting a very confident, controlled, secure setup is just as important as any part of the squat, important as any technique. So when I'm talking about coaching the squat, the setup is just as important as anything else. So in the squat, the first most important part is getting the bar height where you want. That's going to be something you just figure out in your training. The next piece is figuring out your grip width. Me, I got to go all the way out here, but as a rule of thumb, you want your hands as close as you can while still being able to get your bar position and getting the bar where you want. So I'm all the way out here. This is my rack height for the moment. You're going to treat the walkout like it's its own separate movement almost. It's not just something you're having to do in order to get the squat. You actually need to put focus, put energy into understanding the walkout to make it as efficient as possible. So first thing, I get under here, get set up, I get the bar on my back where it's going to be most secure and where I want it to squat with. This isn't about high bar, low bar, but get it where you know you're secure. Get your hands secure, get your hips under the bar. First thing, big air. And I'm pushing out circumferentially 360 degrees all throughout my midsection before I unrack. So what you saw me do there is the two-step walkout. I'm a firm believer that nobody should ever take more than 3 steps. 3 steps is the absolute most you should ever have to take when you're doing a walkout. Ideally, almost everyone should be able to get it done in 2 steps. So the way that I prefer to walk out is get set up with my feet at the same width that I'm going to squat with. So when I'm here under the bar, my feet are the exact same width that I'm going to squat with. So everything's tight, bar's locked in, back's tight, hips under the bar, come straight up, and it's just 2 little steps back. 1, 2. So when I do 2 steps like that, you're not ever having to readjust how wide you're going. It's just straight back. A lot of people you see, especially beginner lifters, they'll take that bar and come 3, 4, 5 steps backwards away from the rack. You never need to go that far from the rack. Anytime you're talking about trying to do a maximal effort squat, a 1 rep max lift, hitting a PR in competition, you need to minimize that time under tension. You need to get set up and get that squat command. So the less steps you take, the less time you take getting that squat command, the better. So there's no need to come back and take 4 steps backwards, getting way far away from the bar. You just got to make sure that you clear these hooks by a few inches. So that's one of the most important things, is not coming too far back in the squat. Other than that, just making sure you get the cues of getting the bar set, your grip width, and when you unrack, it's a very strong movement of its own. Circumferential expansion right here. Come up, get your steps, and then once I've taken my 2 steps back, I get there and I settle, and I'm waiting for the squat command, and I'll take my last air. So I'm bracing the whole time, anticipating when that squat command is going to come. So I'm going to go through it here without any cues, just walking you through exactly how mine looks. Got my grip width. My stance is the same width I'm going to squat with. Bar secure on my back. And that's how I've walked out 500 kilos.